Someone leaves a note on the break room counter, folded into a tight square, like it is ashamed to take up space. It is meant for someone else. It says, "Cleaners, do not let Marcus Hale walk behind you." My full name sits there in dark ink, spelled right. No smudge, no question mark. I stand in my gray uniform with my keys in my hand and I feel my body try to reject the words, like food gone bad. I check the date on the wall calendar. It is tonight. I check my time card. It is tonight. I check the break room camera dome in the corner. Its little black eye watches the counter. I look back at the note, trying to find the trick, the prank, the stupid office game. No one here knows me well enough to write that. The day staff barely looks up when I empty their bins. Security calls me Hale because it is on my badge. That is the whole relationship. I unfold the note carefully. On the inside, there is only one more line. If you hear the pattern, do not turn. My radio crackles with a security guard on duty, Manny, asking if I have clocked in. I answer, "Boy, steady from practice," and I say yes. He tells me the 4th floor is locked down for electrical work and to avoid it. I tell him I will. I fold the note again and slide it into my pocket. I want to throw it away, but I do not. The paper feels wrong against my leg, like it has heat. The office is quiet in the way a building is quiet when it is still full of people in the walls. Vents breathe. The elevator cable hums. A printer in some distant corner does a lonely self-test and then stops. This place runs on motion sensors. Lights wake up when you enter a corridor. Bathrooms flush themselves when you stand. Doors open if you have the right badge and if the sensor sees a body in the right place. They say it is efficient. They say it is secure. I start on the 2nd floor because it is always the easiest. The sales department leaves crumbs and coffee rings, but nothing worse. My cart squeaks a little. I have been meaning to oil the wheel, but I keep forgetting. The first sensor catches me and the hallway lights step on in front of me, one panel at a time. I watch them bloom like a runway. Then, behind me 2 panels snap on. I stop. The panels behind me stay lit. There is nobody. There is only the corridor and my cart and the line of closed doors. I tell myself it is a delay, a bug, a draft in the sensor field. I start walking again. The panels behind me dim off one by one. I hear something, almost too soft to be a sound. It is like someone taps the plastic cover of a light switch with a fingernail. How? I turn my head just a little. Nothing. Tap, tap. It comes again, and I feel it in my teeth more than in my ears. I force myself not to look. The note in my pocket presses into my thigh. I push my cart into the sales bullpen and begin to work. I empty bins. I wipe the tables. I gather straight papers and toss them into the shredder box. The routine steadies my breathing. It is what I do. I reach the main trash station and pull out a new liner. The smell is old coffee and stale sugar. There is a paper cup sitting on top of the pile, perfectly upright, like it has not been used. White cup, brown sleeve, plastic lid missing. It looks clean enough that it could have been placed there on purpose. I pick it up, because that is my job, and I see that it is not empty. There is no coffee inside. There is a folded strip of receipt paper, tucked down into the cup like a tongue. My stomach tightens. I pull the paper out and unfold it. It is blank. There is no ink, no printing, just the faint crease of a thumbprint. I hold the cup up to toss it, and something catches my eye. Under the rim, where nobody ever looks, there is tiny printed text. It is not handwritten. It is like part of the cup design, except it is not a brand name or a recycling symbol. It says, "Behind you is not empty." I stare at it long enough that my fingers go numb. I hear the soft tap again from the hallway. One tap, then a pause, and 2. How? Tap, tap. I freeze with the cup in my hand. I know patterns. I have spent too many nights in too many buildings listening to the same machines repeat themselves until my brain makes meaning out of them. Air handler cycle. Pipes knock. Fire doors click. It is always the same. This is not the same. Up, tap, 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 tap. The taps come in clusters, and the pauses between clusters feel measured, like the spaces between words. My radio crackles. Manny says, "Hale, you good up there?" I key the mic and try to speak, but my throat locks. I swallow and force out a yes. I tell him the lights are acting weird. He laughs softly and says, "Motion sensors. Lost? Keep moving." I do not laugh. I look up at the ceiling. There are sensors in the corners, little white half spheres with dark centers. They watch for heat, for motion, for a change in the air. I step out into the hallway, pushing my cart. The lights ahead of me flick on obediently. Behind me, the lights flick on again. Not the ones directly behind. 2 panels down, as if whatever triggers them keeps a careful distance. I stop. The lights behind me stay on. I keep my eyes forward and listen. How? Tap, 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 tap. The pattern repeats. 1, 2, 3. Then a longer pause. 1, 2, 3. It is so simple that my brain almost refuses it, but the pauses have weight. They feel like punctuation. In the sales bullpen, a monitor wakes up, its screensaver shifting. Then it goes dark. I push my cart toward the bathroom, because it is a place with tile and echo and a door I can close. The sensor above the door sees me and the light inside flicks on. When I enter, the mirror shows the room behind me, and for a second, something in the mirror is wrong. Not a figure, not a face. Just the sense that the space behind my shoulders is deeper than it should be, like the reflection has an extra inch of hallway that does not exist. I turn quickly and there is nothing, just stalls and sinks. The taps stop. I lock myself in a stall like a child. I hate myself for it, but I do it anyway. I breathe through my mouth. My phone buzzes in my pocket. A text from an unknown number. Do not look at the mirror again. I stare at the screen until it dims. I text back, who is this? No response. The bathroom lights flicker once, like a blink. Then they hold steady. I wait. I listen. No taps. When I finally step out, I wash my hands even though they are not dirty. The water is too cold. The automatic dryer roars. In the roar, I think I hear a rhythm, but I tell myself it is just the fan. I push my cart back into the hallway. The lights ahead come on. The lights behind come on. I do not stop this time. I keep moving. Because the note says do not turn, and because my skin tells me that stopping is what it wants. As I walk, I begin to notice other sounds. A keyboard clack from a closed office. A single mouse click. A chair wheel roll. Tiny sounds that could be settling. Could be air pressure, could be nothing. But they repeat. The keyboard clack always comes in threes. The mouse click always comes in two. The chair wheel roll always comes in one long scrape. 1, 2, 3, 1 long. They line up with the taps. It is not one sound. It is many sounds scattered through the floor, synchronizing like a crowd learning to clap together. I stop at the supply closet to swap out my mop head. The closet is narrow and smells like bleach and rubber. The light inside is on a sensor too. It comes on when I open the door. When I step in, the light stays on. When I step out, it stays on, as if someone else is still inside. I close the door and the light shines under the gap for a full 10 seconds before it clicks off. My mouth goes dry. I hurry toward the elevator lobby. Because there are cameras there and because Manny sits at a bank of screens downstairs. If the sensors are tracking something, the logs will show it. The cameras will show it. The elevator call button lights under my finger. The down arrow glows. The taps return. Closer now. Not louder. Just closer, like the source has moved up behind me. Hup, tap, 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 tap. Then something else. A soft, wet sound, like fabric brushing fabric. My shoulders tense. I keep my eyes forward. The elevator dings and the doors open. Inside, the elevator is empty, but the light is already on. It should be off. Waiting. I step in and hit the lobby button. The doors begin to close. At the last second, the motion sensor in the doorway triggers, and the doors pause then open again, as if someone stands right outside. Nothing is there. The doors try again. They pause again. They open. My breath comes fast. I back into the corner of the elevator and stare at the hallway, refusing to look to either side. The taps come from the ceiling now, like someone uses a fingernail on the metal grid. Tap, 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 tap. Then the keyboard clack, 3 beats from somewhere on the floor. Then the mouse click, 2. Then the long scrape. It is building a sentence. I do not know Morse code. I know that people always joke about it, that it is dots and dashes, that it is old war stuff, that it is romantic. This is not romantic. This is a voice that does not have a mouth. The elevator doors finally close, slow and reluctant, like they are squeezing past something invisible. The car begins to descend. Halfway down, the lights flicker, the hum of the motor changes tone, and in that change I hear the pattern again. 1, 2, 3, 1 long. My phone buzzes again. Another unknown number. It is spelling you. I stare at the message until my eyes water. The elevator reaches the lobby and opens. The lobby is dark except for the security desk glow. Manny sits there, hunched over a screen, coffee beside his hand. He looks up. You look like you saw something, he says. I walk to the desk and I put the paper cup down in front of him. I turn it so the printed message under the rim faces him. Read that, I say. He leans in, squints, then frowns. Where you get this? Second floor trash, I say. He picks it up, turns it, checks the underside like he expects a joke logo. He sets it down slowly. That is not ours, he says. We do not order cups like this. I pull the folded note from my pocket and hand it to him. His eyes move over my name. The color drains from his face in a way that feels too fast. He looks past me, toward the bank of monitors. You been turning around, he asks. No, I lie, because I do not want to admit the mirror. He presses a few keys and brings up the motion log overlay on hallway camera feeds. I have seen it before. Little boxes blink when movement triggers a sensor, time stamped. On the second floor feed, I see myself pushing my cart, a pale shape in grainy night vision. Then I see the sensor boxes behind me blink on, again and again, always 2 panels back, always keeping pace, but the camera shows nothing in those panels, just empty corridor. Manny zooms in, jaw tight. The boxes keep blinking as I move. Then, for a moment, the boxes blink in front of me too, like something crosses the hall ahead of my cart. On screen, my body hesitates. Manny looks at me. You did not tell me that part. I shake my head. I cannot. He scrubs the footage back and plays it again slower. The motion boxes blink. Nothing visible. Then the elevator lobby camera. Me waiting. Doors opening on nothing. Manny swallows. You hear anything? He asks. I tell him about the taps. I tell him about the keyboard. I tell him how it feels like words. He looks down at his coffee. Do not drink that, I say. He free is. Why? I nod at the cup on his desk, my cup, with its message under the rim. He sets his coffee farther away like it might bite. He turns to the monitor bank again and pulls up the building system panel, the one that shows sensor triggers. He clicks through menus faster than he should be able to. A map of the second floor appears, dotted with sensor icons. A trail of triggers follows my route like breadcrumbs, and behind that trail, there is another. Not exactly behind. Ozat, 2 panels back. Always, Manny whispers, like saying it softly will keep it from hearing. That is a shadow log. I stare at the screen. My hands shake. What does that mean? He does not answer. He clicks on the 4th floor. The map is mostly gray, locked down, but one sensor icon icon is active. It is blinking. It blinks in the pattern. What? 3 eyes. 1, 2, 3. Manny leans closer. That sensor is in the electrical room, he says. You said it was locked, I say. It is, he says, voiced in. The motion log shows it has been triggering for an hour. My phone buzzes again. Unknown number. Tell Manny to stop listening. I show him the text. His eyes flick up to the ceiling camera above the desk, then back to the screen, then to the dark lobby behind me. The taps begin again. Not from upstairs this time. From inside the lobby walls. Tap, 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 tap. Manny grips the edge of the desk. It is closer, he says. The lobby lights, on their own motion sensors, begin to wake up in sections, not following me, but following something that moves in a circle around the desk. The camera above us pans slightly. Automatic tracking. It tracks empty air. Manny stands, knocking his chair back. He grabs his flashlight and swings it through the dark. The beam catches nothing, but the motion boxes on the monitor light up around us like a ring of footsteps. The pattern in the tapping changes. The pauses shorten. The clusters tighten. My brain tries to translate it anyway. It forces meaning where there should be none. My name sits in my head like a key. Marcus. Hell. The taps begin to match the syllables, the stress, the shape. No. Hus. Hell. I back away from the desk, and the lobby sensor behind me clicks on. Manny says my name once, warning me without knowing what he is warning me about. I stop. The sensor behind me stays on. The air at my back feels occupied. Not warm, not cold, just taken. My phone buzzes one last time. Unknown number. If it gets in front of you, it can speak. The lobby camera pans again, following the invisible circle. The taps stop. In the sudden quiet, I hear a different sound. A breath, not mine, right behind my ear. And then, very softly, as if learning how to use a throat, something begins to form the first syllable of my name. No. Manny shines his flashlight straight at my face and his eyes widen past me, past my shoulder, at something I refuse to turn to see. He says, do not move. The lights behind me flare on, every panel at once, and the motion log on the monitor explodes with triggers, as if the building finally admits what has been following me all night. The breath behind my ear deepens, and a voice tries again, closer to correct. Marcus. I feel the paper cut message in my mind. Behind you is not empty, and the lobby door sensor clicks as if someone has just entered, even though the glass doors remain closed. Manny whispers, it is here. The voice behind me finishes the last part, almost tender. Hell, and the elevator behind the security desk dings, opening onto darkness, as if it has arrived for someone who has been waiting. I keep my eyes forward. I do not turn, but the motion sensors do not need my eyes to know what stands in my back. They track it perfectly. They track it as it steps closer. They track it as it moves, slowly, deliberately, until the next set of lights in front of me flicks on. Even though I do not move at all, something is now in front of me too. And the pattern starts again, not in taps this time, but in Manny breathing as if he cannot stop himself from matching it. What? 3? He looks at me, terrified, and his mouth opens like he is about to say something he does not want to say. The building listens. The sensors wait, and the voice behind me presses closer, ready to borrow a new mouth. I hear the first word form on Manny's tongue, shaped by the same rhythm that has been following me all night. My name, spoken in a pattern, and then the lobby lights cut out completely.